It's good to find good help.
All right. Well, happy Facebook Friday and welcome to our Friday Facebook Live segment. Caring Conversations, where we look forward to bringing topics that are relevant to our clients, their families, our caregivers, and our professional healthcare partners. My name is Julie Collada, and I'm the founder and president of Open Arms Solutions. Open Arms is a home care company, and we provide professional care teams, caregivers and care coordinators to help seniors and their families navigate the challenges of aging and illness and proudly supporting their dignity and independence in their own homes. With me today, I am so happy to say that Jennifer Prell, founder and president of ElderWorks Educational Services, a non-for-profit 501c3 corporation, is here, and I am thrilled that Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm excited.
I'm really glad that you're here, and the topic, the work that you do, and the topic is so important. The topic today is: should I stay or should I go? Should I stay home? Or should I go into a senior living community? And that topic it's so key that families have that conversation. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but I want to talk about you and your organization a little bit.
Okay.
Before we dive into that. Jennifer is a senior living executive, advocate, A+ accredited senior move manager, and an entrepreneur with successful organizations in the senior industry. Jennifer is the founder and president of ElderWorks Educational Services, a not-for-profit, as I said. ElderWorks offers complimentary information, referrals, and guidance to older adults, seniors, and their families. The guidance provided includes navigation of all types of senior living options, care, services, and benefits based on the seniors and their needs. Jennifer, this is such an important, needed service. And, I have so many questions I want to ask you. And I know that people who are tuning in it's so important that people understand that there are services like yours out there. Because as you and I both know, we often get that call from a panicked adult child when an event has happened.
Right.
Where a fall has happened, and then all of a sudden families are scrambling. Mom or dad can't stay home alone anymore, and now what do we do?
Right.
And so what your organization does, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, is you really help people navigate all that and give them great options. How did you get into this? Can we start there? What
Sure.
brought you into this world?
Well, I've always volunteered my entire life helping seniors. They're my favorite people. Some people love children. I love older adults and seniors. They have great stories. I started my first organization in 2003 with the idea of helping people pack and move with my company, Paxum. It was very fun. It is very fun. We're still doing it. It's great. And along the process, I met some people who helped families find senior living, but the organizations they were working for only help in private pay situations and kind of micromanaged their process. I didn't agree with it. I thought it was ridiculous that seniors were being discriminated against due to income. I believe that every senior human, because that's all I can help, on this planet deserves respect, dignity, and a great place to live. Doesn't matter of your income level. So I decided to start an organization to help seniors find senior living, and then built around that with all of the support and benefits and resources that are available. So ElderWorks was born, and we help any senior within the state of Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and western Indiana, and other states too, but we're limited due to the fact we can't tour. Find any type of senior living option, from your independent retirement through your skilled care. That includes Medicare, Medicaid, Section 8, HUD housing. Maybe people don't want to move. Maybe they just need to figure out how to stay home. And that's fine with me. let's figure it out and keep you safe and engaged and thrive. So wherever you live, you need to be thriving. Okay, looking forward to tomorrow, and being safe. Those are my two things. Are you safe, and are you looking forward to tomorrow? So that's important to us at ElderWorks. That's our goal. And then, of course, all of the benefits that are available, anything that we can do to find services, transportation, nutritional projects, information on veterans benefits, anything pretty much senior, we either know or know where to find. So that's what we do. We're like senior guidance counselors.
You really are. I mean, I've worked with several people on your team, and they're all incredibly knowledgeable, really get to know the different options that are available for seniors. So let's talk a little bit more about this topic. Should I stay or should I go? What are some of the signs that you see or families should look out for to start to have that conversation?
Absolutely. When my dad was 60, we started this conversation. He's now 81. We talked.
Wow.
It's a lot of years.
That's
Every single year we talk, because it's important. Your needs changed yearly, right? You're not the same person. So you need to find out what they want, whomever. If it's yourself, what do you want? Or if it's your adult child, you need to find out what your parents want. What does their future look like? What do they still want to do as they age? Do they want to stay home as long as possible? That's fine. Okay, let's just make sure your home is safe, adapted, you have care in place, whatever we can do to make sure they are happy. Okay, because it's not our decision. Well, sometimes it is if someone didn't plan well, but it's not our decision to make. If your parents have full cognition and they can make decisions, they just need to verbalize what they want while they can, because things change, as you know.
Oh, they do, and they change. They can change suddenly.
Unfortunately, it does. So, today, when my dad was 60, he's a lot different than he is at 81. I talk about my dad all the time. I wonder if he sees these videos, but he's probably going to be mad at me.
Oh, no.
But
he's proud of you.
Oh, he is. He's very proud. But he's a fall risk now. So at 60, he wasn't, and now he is. So things are definitely different for him, and we're having conversations monthly now instead of yearly. So it's important to know what we're going to do and how to figure that out.
Yeah, it's so important. And I will say that I've been in this industry for a little bit more than 13 years now. And, I really applaud you for having that conversation with your family the way you did. That's the absolute right way to do it. I think there's a lot of people, my experience tells me, sometimes they try to have the conversation.
Well, deny it, right?
and that was my case with my mom. My father had passed away, and my mom was very independent. And we kept saying, Mom, we really need to know what you want. What options? If for some reason you can't tell us what you want, let's have that conversation now. And my mom's famous answer was, not today.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Next time we get together for family, let's talk. And guess what happened? It never happened. And then unfortunately, there got to be a point where my mom really couldn't contribute to that conversation, which puts so much stress on the family.
If you love your children, start talking about what you want. Help them. Yeah. Help them understand what you want and what your future looks like. Yes, it's scary. I'm not going to lie. Any changes, and this is a big change. Right. Moving from a house, let's say, accepting help even at home, because not everybody accepts help well, or even thinking about leaving that homestead into a different lifestyle is very scary. But I tell you what, the people we have helped along the way that had made those decisions themselves were so happy. And they all said not all, most said to us, we, as in me and my husband or I, should have done this years ago. This is something that I have been contemplating, but I've been scared to move forward. It's not scary. They have new friends. They get meals and housekeeping and laundry service and activities on a normal day. COVID's a little different, but COVID is just something that we have to work around. It's not a detriment to senior living. Senior living options are safe. So It depends on what their no is. So if their no is they don't want to change because they're scared, that's really, you need to validate that and say, I understand that you are afraid. However, why don't we go ahead and just look at what's available, see what there is out there, even if you're not moving today. Let's see what options are out there, see what you like about these places and what you don't like. And then you'll figure out what you want, that's the hardest part. No one knows what they want until they have a need. And then they're living somewhere and they're like, oh, I didn't want this. Well, if you plan, you'll know what you want and what you need.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I do a lot of speaking, as I know you do. And I speak to groups, and I have a talk that is called Having the Talk. And I've heard various people in the senior living community have that kind of a presentation. And it's all aimed at how do you get into that conversation with your family members? It was kind of like the talk that hopefully your parents had with you as you were growing up about what.
Different. But we're still having that talk, just vice versa now.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. The tables turned, and now we're having that same kind of talk.
Right.
And for most people, it's really, tables have turned. It's like often it's an uncomfortable kind of a feeling that you now have to be the one that's looking out for your loved one. But it's just something that's part of life. It's something that. And I know you and I were talking a little bit before we went on, we love our parents and they're the best. And we want to do the right thing for them.
Right.
And then that means that we probably have to have those uncomfortable conversations.
Well, the conversation is hard if you go at it as you must move. You need to, you're going to, you have to.
Yes.
If you go at it a little differently, maybe talk about the things they love. So you can say to your mom, I know you used to love doing this activity. Yeah. You're no longer doing that activity. Would you like to do it again? Is that something you would want to do? Or, Mom, you're not getting out as much. Do you want to be more social? How do we do that? Mom, you're not keeping up the house very well anymore. I've noticed the spider webs. Do you need some help? Do you want help? What would you like? Do you think that there's something we can do to put in place to keep you happy at home, such as a caregiver from Open Arms, or, maybe the children want to help for a while until it gets too much. Maybe mom's just tired of cooking. Maybe you can figure out something like that. But when we're trying to help our families, basically our asks are what's going on with your loved one medically, what's going on with them physically. Are they fall risk? Falling is a key to you cannot stay home alone anymore, or you need to transition. Does your loved one have memory loss? What kind of, where do they want to live? Do they want to live around the children? Do they want to live around their friends? Do they want to live by their doctors? I always tell people, you can always replace a doctor. Your doctor's not going to take you to the opera. Your doctor's not going to take you out for dinner. Your doctor's not going to come visit and have dinner with you. You might want to think about that versus I want to be by my doctors. What kind of amenities do you want? Do you want a swimming pool? Do you want to live in an urban setting, a suburban setting? Do you want a big building? Do you want a small building? These are all things you need to contemplate before you even choose where to look. Yeah. There's thousands of options. So if you don't reduce your list to the things that are important to you, you'll never, ever be able to make a decision. There's just too much.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming, and that's really good advice. So, I appreciate your saying, and I think the advice is great advice. It's really about communication and finding out what's important to them.
Absolutely.
So what are the things, some of the, and certainly, yes, and thank you for mentioning, some people, and we talk to people too, and we have people who have stayed with us in the home, and at some point, the family realizes they'll be better in a community because they really need those amenities or that extra socialization that they're looking for.
Right.
And then sometimes it goes the other way. Someone goes into a community and they say, you know what, this isn't for me. I want to stay home. So it's really about the best you can, having that consistent conversation with them in understanding options. Can we talk a little bit about, for people, because we have people ask us this too, when you think about the options in terms of, and you mentioned this too, affordability.
Absolutely.
And can we talk a little bit about affordability and what happens when a family comes to you or they come to us and they say, you know what, my parents have limited means. They've raised us, they took care of us, but for whatever reason, they just didn't have that nest egg, and there's just not a lot there for them.
Right.
So how do you have that conversation? What are the options for families? And there's limited assets.
It depends on how much they have and how old they are and their medical issues. For instance, we try to get everyone to live well to about 100 with their assets. If they are limited income and they don't have any physical or medical limitations, they can go into independent living. They can go into a senior apartment based on their income. But if they are needing help, maybe some bathing assist, dressing assist, help to the dining room, they can go into supportive living in Illinois. So there's assisted living, which does the same thing, but it's private pay only. And Illinois is awesome because we do have supportive living, and supportive living is the same thing as assisted living, but they accept Medicaid, which means that if your loved one is limited or doesn't have income, they can move into a supportive living facility and live there comfortably until they die. However, if they get too needy in terms of medical issues, they would have to leave. So if they had CHF and couldn't get out of bed, or they had open wounds or anything.
CHF is chronic heart failure. For those.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I do the same thing. Chronic is it's one of the top reasons seniors get hospitalized, and yeah.
Right, and it's a continual vicious cycle into the hospital.
Right.
Basically, if that happens and they're very needy, whatever their medical issue, they would have to go to skilled nursing at that point, a skilled nursing facility. So it's really dependent on each individual person. There are thousands of options, like I said, from independent living through the whole continuum. We do try to avoid skilled nursing unless it's an absolute end of life situation or a full loss of memory and low income, then that's their choice. They have to go to skilled nursing. But if you have funds, as they say, you have the choice to do what you want. So my advice to everybody listening is plan for after retirement needs, not just I'm traveling, I'm going to see the grandbabies, but you have to plan for your care, your home care, the adaptability factor of your house, maybe even moving to a ranch that's ADA compliant or moving to a senior living option. You have to plan all of that, and you base it on your medical history as well as your loved one's medical history. So mine would be based on my grandparents and my parents, not just myself. And you take all of that and then you figure out what you think you might need. It changes. Maybe you never need it. Yay, hallelujah. But maybe you do need a higher level of care and you've planned for it. And if you plan for it, the world is your oyster.
Yeah, it's never fun to talk to a family that is in a crisis mode and has to find a solution quickly.
There's always a solution, though.
But there is always a solution. Yeah, no, I agree with you. So we have a couple viewer questions. I want to make sure we get. So the first one I see here is, once I've convinced my loved one to make that move, what should we be looking for in selecting a community?
One that is basically going to support your loved one's needs, spiritually, mentally, and physically. That's important. Plus, it's the whole person. Does this person meet, okay, so think of high school. Did you get along with everyone in high school? I didn't. Well, it's the same thing in senior housing. Are these your people? Can you see yourself living with these people every single day and being social with them? Are they the same intellect as you are? Are they the same? Do they stimulate you? Are they fun? Maybe you want a lot of activities and fun. Then you need to find a building that's very active and has a lot of people who are engaging. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're less social. You still need to be social, but then you want a more quiet building. So you have to figure out who your person is as a whole, and then select community. That's what I would suggest. Amenities, personality, all the fun.
That's great advice. So, here's another question. Why don't we make sure we get all the questions in here?
Yes, absolutely.
Any advice in moving to communities now during a pandemic?
I think if you want to move or need to move, do it. The senior communities are the safest places to live. I'm not talking about skilled care. Okay, skilled care is hard. But when you are moving of your own fruition into independent, assisted, memory care, any of those levels, they are safe. So we're not used to a pandemic. It's not our thing. It's the United States of America. Typically, we get the flu. We're used to that. So what happens is the CDC sends out a notice. The buildings receive the notice. They immediately start protocols. They immediately start sanitizing and cleaning. And if it's a bad outbreak, they shut their doors. They lock their doors and say, sorry, no visitors. No visitors. We're keeping our residents safe. It's a beautiful system. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, it's a little creeper. They creeped in, and even the cleanest communities had some outbreaks. The communities we work with, I would say most of them have eradicated COVID by sequestering their residents, by protecting their residents. The difference with staying home during COVID outbreak and living in a senior building is, yes, they might be in their apartment and they can't leave their apartment right now, but they get breakfast, lunch, and dinner delivered. So you're getting 3 touches. They get activities delivered. They did activities in their doorway. Plus, they had electronic devices to communicate with their loved ones. And as the pandemic, during the pandemic, when it loosened up and we were starting to get better, they did put up plexiglass outside so you can sit on a patio and talk to your loved one. They were talking to loved ones through windows. They always did what they needed to do to make sure that the residents were safe and engaged. And they were always checked on, which is a fabulous thing.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you because we partner with senior living communities where we provide caregiving services to just augment the different services in the community to help our residents. I will agree with you that, the communities are just, as you can imagine, they're under such a spotlight and they are under so much scrutiny. But, they care for our loved ones and they care for our seniors. And so, but I agree with you. I think that the communities that we're involved with do a beautiful job, and the residents' safety is their number one priority. I know for people that we've talked to, I've had some friends that have been looking, and actually family that are probably listening right now, that have been looking for senior living communities. And the challenge right now, and I know you and your team are facing this, is that a lot of the it's starting to open up, and hopefully it will continue to open up. But the challenge is a lot of the tours and things are virtual.
Well, they are actually. A lot of buildings are now bringing people in for tours. They might be new tours.
Yes.
But the key to anything in life is communication. So that is one thing you do get from these buildings is communication about your loved one and what they're doing to help protect them. Yeah. My advice is for the people that want to find senior living is contact someone like ElderWorks. Honestly, if you don't want to contact us, fine, contact someone else, because we do know the ins and outs of every building. We know who's good at what. We know who is bad at what. We basically dissect what you're looking for and give you a list of 3, 4, maybe 5 communities that meet your criteria versus looking at 20, 30, 40 and wasting time and then getting confused. Yes, most of the agencies like us or referral services are funded by helping families. ElderWorks is different in that we're not always funded, and we don't choose who we're helping, or we help every single person the same way. We don't say, oh, you have no money, we're going to help you differently than this person. No, everybody's treated equally. Everyone's treated the same. Actually, people with less funds take 100% more time than someone with funds. Doesn't matter. We don't care. We'll help all of our seniors. I would prefer someone call me and say, hey, do you know anything about this community? Then make a bad decision.
Yeah, and I think that it's so, for people listening, that Jennifer and her team really do a great job of really integrating themselves into senior living communities. They get to know the teams there, the staff.
We do.
They really get a feeling for the culture of those communities.
Right.
And that's something that they take the time to do, and it's just an incredibly important resource for families. We got another question.
Yay.
I'm trying to find a place for my grandmother, who is 100 years old.
Wow.
Bless her heart. Yeah. She doesn't want to leave her house. What resources do you have where I can keep her home and rehab her at home? Well.
Wow.
Well. I like to take that.
Would you like the answer, Julie?
Well, I mean, there are those scenarios. Yeah. I mean, I think that, that's where I think a company like Open Arms can be a great resource. And companies like ElderWorks understands home care options are part of their, what you represent.
Right. And if it's rehab, we do have home health services that offer the PT, OT, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy to residents in their home, whether it's in a house or in a senior community. So there
really are ways to keep people in their home if they want to be in their home safely. And, it really starts with often having someone come in and assess the house. Either Jennifer's organization would do it or our organization, depending on who gets the referral at first. But we really assess that senior and their home, and are they safe? Are there stairs? What does the bathroom look like? Are there handrails? All those things that we know are so important. And does the senior need some rehab? Do they need, physical therapy, occupational therapy? And so we get in there, we assess. Do they need a caregiver to stay safe at home? And we assess and make the best recommendation.
My recommendation is get rid of the throw rugs. They're killers. Everybody who has throw rugs, they're pretty, but if you don't love your mother, leave them on the floor. Otherwise, bye-bye. They got to go. I'm just so done with throw rugs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know what? I can remember personally when I was going through this with my mom back in 2006. That was a battle. But you're 100% right. I mean, Mom, these are beautiful. I know you love this Oriental rug. It is gorgeous. It's just not safe for you.
It's got to go bye-bye. As I say, bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think Open Arms Solutions has great caregivers. I mean, you are a larger agency, which is fabulous. You can pretty much service people all the time. Not all agencies are created equal. So my suggestion is if you're looking for an agency, find one that has staff that is available, because if someone goes on vacation, you need backup help. Or if someone gets sick, you need backup help. And yes, Julie or myself can recommend home modification organizations, adaptability organizations. We can make suggestions on chair lifts and things like that. No one as an older adult or senior should ever be going up and down the stairs to do laundry. Your balance is not the same as when you were younger. Don't think that you are. If you're over 65, your balance changes, period. There is no if. So I preach a lot about that. I hate stairs too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know I can absolutely hear in your voice here. And I feel it too. We all do. And in senior living, I know at Open Arms, we want to keep people safe. Yeah. And it really starts with, it's great when there's family involved that can help us. And, sometimes we have to have these really kind of, I guess, tough conversations.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And, it's not easy. You said that earlier. It's not easy for a lot of people to ask for help.
It's not.
So sometimes we just, in the interest of wanting to do the right thing for the senior, sometimes we have to say things that we know people don't necessarily want to hear, i.e. no more stairs. Really, you need to get rid of these beautiful, gorgeous rugs in your family room. Right. But our experience tells us that that's when tough things happen.
Well, communication is key. It's communication and listening. You need to listen. All of us do. We all have to learn how to listen better. We don't listen to every word. We just listen to what we want to hear. Yeah. And the problem with that is, if let's say your mom says, I'm fine at home. I can cook, I can clean, I'm good, I'm fine. Oh, but I'm so lonely. Hello, that's a key. Loneliness is one of the biggest factors of people declining at home. Huge.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you. It's hard to believe, but our 30 minutes are up.
Oh, I can't believe it. We could talk.
Right, I know. It's been so great talking with you. We so appreciate your coming on this segment, and thank you for everything you and your team do. You all do a wonderful job helping families. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, have a great weekend, Jennifer.
Thank you.
All right, take good care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.